the honest trailer for the Screen Junkies honest trailer for Eternals this
funny.
afternoon.
I liked it.
The comment about strap in for 2.5 hours of people discussing the trolley problem.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
I haven't finished it. Is it
The
Eternals?
trailer or the movie?
the movie? I haven't watched either yet, but
It's I don't hate it, but
I've watched probably 40% of it.
It is definitely the most resounding meh of a Marvel movie that I've seen in a little bit.
It's the easiest thing I've been able to set down. If that helps.
It's not bad.
Like I can.
No, it's not
It's
bad.
just not.
It's just not really great.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It
Well,
doesn't
and-
tent my pants.
Uh,
I can't remember the last. Probably Endgame.
Shang-Chi
No Way Home.
or
No Way Home
No
got
Way
me.
Home's good.
Shang-Chi did that too. I didn't like that. Didn't
Shang-Chi
hook
was
me.
very take it or leave it.
I
Yeah.
was like, yeah. So,
Most of
Like,
Phase
I
4
don't
has
feel
been take it
bad
or leave
about
it.
watching it.
No.
Either one of them. I don't feel like I wasted my money. Going
they
to
don't
see it
feel.
in
They don't
theater.
feel like Marvel.
I
movies
really-
in the true sense
Aside-
of what we've had.
But
from,
I wish I
08
would have
to
waited.
now.
Aside from No Way Home, I think everything in Phase 4 so far has been take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Hawkeye
Loki,
was pretty
maybe.
Solid.
Hawkeye was fun.
I enjoyed
Loki was
Hawkeye.
fun.
God,
And
I love
feel
Florence
better
Pugh.
about those because I could just watch them. I could watch them on television,
Yeah,
and that was great.
yeah.
But I could have done the same with the other two, and not felt. I mean, I don't feel like I wasted my money on the movie ticket, but I wish I would have just waited the 3 months or whatever.
Spider-Man was one I was happy that I went and saw.
Yeah,
I really, really enjoyed that movie.
but that was mostly because it was well executed nostalgia. It wasn't overblown nostalgia like
Yeah, that was
like
fan service done right.
fucking every Star Wars thing.
It was fan service
But
done right. Oh God,
also-
do we want to talk about Boba Fett? Speaking of Star Wars, do we have much
Uh,
to say that hasn't already been
I'm 2
said?
episodes behind.
It's boring.
I really like that Wookiee though. Holy
Dude,
fucking
yeah, he's
awesome.
been the best part of the show.
Does he come back after that first appearance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
he does. He's not a huge part, but he does come back. My
He's
biggest
just-
thing
He's
is
just in it.
I
Like,
don't
he's in it.
understand. It's and I hate to hop on the like Disneyfication bandwagon because it I don't think it's entirely true as much as some people say, but Boba Fett's entire thing is that he wants to be a crime lord, which I don't understand why he wants to be a crime lord. I kind of do, but I kind of don't. He's not. I don't know. He's not a badass. He's
No,
at all.
no.
It's like he wants to be a crime boss, but he wants to commit no crime.
Yes.
And I don't know. I don't get it.
I thought maybe
don't
that would
entirely get it.
change. I thought maybe it was like an early thing, but what
And
was
too many flashbacks.
Did you see the train robbery?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the last episode.
That was some crime. That was some
Yeah.
hardcore
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah.
But I
don't
get what you
care.
mean. Like he's like in Jabba's palace, and he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be. He just wants to get some revenge. And you're
See,
like,
I
okay.
would have liked to see him come back and be like, no, Mos Eisley is not going to be under the rule of crime lords anymore, and just systematically. I would have. I
that
would
would
have.
have made sense.
I would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have seen
Nope.
that more than what he's doing. I don't know.
Nope, you can't make sense in Star Wars.
As
I think we've
I
established that in our
right.
lifetime.
I can't remember if it was our chat or if it was the chat that we have with Rick and Wayne and those guys where I mentioned the fact I really firmly believe that the only reason why I look forward to the show as much as I do is because for whatever reason, Annabelle is super into it.
Really?
Like really into it.
Because Star Wars is a kid show.
She likes The Mandalorian.
Nobody wants to like suck it up and say it, but it is. It's a kid show.
It totally is. It totally.
And
totally
people are
is.
like, but it's for me. Like, no, it's not. It
No,
was
yeah.
when
It
I
It was when
12.
you were a kid.
It's for your kid's psyche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it's built to push all those buttons for
Yep.
you.
But like when we walked out of Rise of Skywalker, or just watching Rise of Skywalker, the best part of the movie was looking down at Alex and just watching him be excited
Yeah,
to be
right.
alive and
Uh-huh.
watching
Well, no, I mean-
Star Wars. Like it definitely wasn't for me.
No.
John Favreau is great to have like running it because I mean he's thinking from the what would make me come
Yeah.
when
Principal.
I was 13.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gets it.
What
At
would make
least
13-year-old me hard right now?
at
Yeah.
least they've
I mean,
finally got
besides everything.
between him and Dave Filoni, they've finally got people who seem to actually get what Star Wars is.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think the problem with the fandom in general is they don't want to admit that it's for kids.
No.
Nobody
They-
wants to be like, yeah, Star Wars is for kids. It's a
They-
kid's IP.
It's
And it's okay. And it's okay
Yeah.
to like it.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be a fan. But at some point you have to be like, yeah, Star Wars is pretty fucking childish.
That's
Well,
why you got
and
to share
it's-
it with your kids. It's just like Cobra Kai to a degree,
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's right in there for the kids, for this generate. Like,
And I don't think
There's-
that's what they were shooting for initially.
no, not
But-
initially.
No, I don't
But
think so
now
either.
It's definitely
It's
a teen
it's
drama.
it's evolved, because it started out as the Johnny Lawrence story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And-
one of my gripes about it, is that they've gotten away from that a little bit.
I know. I missed that.
Season
'Cause
1
I-
was so tight.
I really liked it when it was like middle-age angst, because there isn't as much as people say everything's for us because we're middle-aged white guys. Like that was the only thing that really felt like it hit being a middle-aged white guy. That really just didn't make it.
I always go
Right.
back to that part
Beyond,
in
like,
season
mediocrity.
1 where Johnny is explaining the events of the movies from his perspective.
Yeah.
That's like that is the show at its best, in my opinion. It was
Absolutely.
so good.
When he's
Um,
telling fucking what Miguel,
Miguel? Yeah.
when he's like,
That
yeah,
was
oh,
so
this
good. That was
new
what hooked
kid
me on the
shows
show.
up and fucking trashes my shit, and
Tries to
steals
fuck my girl, and it was
yeah,
that was the show at its best.
that was peak Cobra Kai.
And that's what they're doing with all of these character dynamics with the kids, is like, who do you root for? But
And it's really nobody.
there's really nobody to root for, because
Maybe Tori, because she's the only one that stays loyal to anything.
she's
Right.
right.
She stays
She's
with Cobra
steadfast.
Kai the whole
She's
time.
she
right,
even
everybody
if
else's
she does some
loyalties
shitty
are
stuff, at
lean.
least she picks her lane.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care that she wounded LaRusso Jr. because I don't like LaRusso Jr. She's unathletic and she looks like shit. And
I like
she's
that girl
whiny.
that plays Tori too.
Oh yeah, yeah, she's cool, and she's just fucking mean,
And then
just mean.
Yeah.
Johnny's boy looks like a normal dude now. Finally,
Finally.
He got rid of the Prince Valiant haircut.
Yeah, when he walked out there like He-Man, and you're like, "Come on, kid!" And then he gets a haircut, and it's even worse, and you're like, "Come on, kid! What year is this?"
finally they like locked it in. It's like they must be listening to us.
Yeah,
I think,
because he
because
had
we've
like
criticized
Yeah.
it.
he
every-
had like
Clearly.
15th century hair for so long.
Right.
You're like, wait a minute. This isn't even like 80s or 70s. Somebody gave you 15th century hair. Come on, kid. Nobody's going to like you. And then he went to jail and juvie and got his ass kicked. And you're like, it was because of the hair. No
Yeah.
one took you seriously.
That whiskey ad that they had up there, the Chris down at Brock's has got a bottle of that Van Winkle bourbon right now.
The Pappy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
That's some good shit. I had a shot of that on my birthday.
How much was
Not
it?
this year, but last year. I don't know, because for one, my super awesome girlfriend bought it for me, and for two, Chris, the guy that runs the place, his birthday is like 2 days after mine or the day after mine or some shit. So he took a shot with me and gave me a deal on it and whatnot. I was like, we're gonna have birthday shots together, and yeah, it's some like melt in your mouth smooth bourbon. It's real good.
Yeah, that's the Pappy.
But when it's that expensive, it should be that good.
We weren't streaming when I handed you that mead.
Yeah, we weren't. This is exquisite, my friend.
So-
you continue to impress me,
Share
Ward.
the stream. Nobody's watching.
You continue to impress me,
I
Ward.
brewed the mead
Sure.
in August, I think, and then I bottled it in late September, I want to say.
I was going to say
And
it
I
was
sat on it for
quite
few
a while
months
ago.
before we actually tapped into it. And
It was
so
quite a while ago.
we were going to open it a few weeks ago, and then we ended up canceling that show. And then and then I actually opened up one for the first time the other day at hockey, and sampled it, and it was like, oh fuck, this turned out really good. because I don't remember if I told you what my wife's assessment of it was, and I didn't have a whole lot at the time, but she said it tastes like cherry Dimetapp at the time.
Oh, the elixir.
And I don't think it tastes like that now. I think it tastes great.
Yeah, I like I said, man,
it's smooth. I mean, there's a little bit of a
you've outdone yourself. It definitely has bite. Like it's there.
Oh, like
but it's good. I like it.
17% alcohol.
Wow.
I like it a lot. Let's see. I had other things that I wanted to discuss.
Were we done with Cobra Kai?
But we'll
let's hit on Terry Silver real quick.
Yeah, by all means.
He's my favorite villain, my favorite 80s villain, because he's just about perfect. Because he's just purely villainous.
Yeah.
Through and through. There's no...
I was reading an interview, and Machio didn't like that third, or that movie with him.
That's fine. Machio's a pussy.
Was that the third one or the second one?
That was the third one.
The third
was
one.
it?
Yeah, the second one was in Okinawa.
Oh, it was an all Kreese one. No, yeah. The second one was when he went. And then the third one was they bring Kreese back, and he's down and out on his luck, walking the streets, kicking dirt around.
Yeah.
And Terry Silver comes in.
He goes and gives him the keys to the dojo.
Yeah.
He's like, no, this is going to be John Kreese's
I've got nothing better to do than beat up little kids.
And I don't remember the last time I watched that movie.
We watched
the third one.
We watched it last year after we burned through season 3 of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
And what's funny is the actor that plays Silver is actually a year younger
than Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. It's awesome.
Permanent child face. Like
there's
people who
younger than the girl who plays his daughter.
Well, there's people who age well,
like
and then there's people who just have permanent child face.
Think,
it's not like somebody
Ralph
who's
Macchio
aged gracefully.
He might even be older.
Right. Well,
I'm pretty sure he is.
Yeah.
Or right around there.
Machio is 60.
Is he 60?
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
he's
okay.
older than my mom.
Yeah, but he does not look 60 at all.
No, he doesn't even look 30.
No,
I would say he looks 30. I would say he looks 30.
He looks 30 for sure. There's scenes where they I don't remember, there was a scene where they got close up on his arms and stuff, and he doesn't even have old looking arm,
no
old skin.
He's starting to get some wrinkles around the eyes,
a little bit,
but he's not.
He
just doesn't look old enough to be.
When he dies, they need to do like what they do with football players' brains, where they harvest them
study
them for CTE and stuff like that. They need to do the same thing with Ralph Macchio's body and figure out what it is genetically that makes him an eternal child.
Yeah, the kid's like mainlining adrenochrome or something.
It's crazy.
Just snorting it right out of the adrenal glands of children.
Well, because typically
Karate Kid 1, wasn't he 23 or something in that?
Yeah,
but he looked like he was 14.
Typically, you see
a big
just
14-year-old, but like 14.
Black people, like Sam Jackson and Denzel and stuff, which Denzel's finally starting to show his age a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But usually, it's the whole black don't crack joke, and Ralph Macchio's like the white exception to the. I struggle. Who else can you think of off the top of your head? If there's anybody you can think of off the top of your head that just is like, really? How are they that young? That's white.
That's white.
Because I struggle to think of one.
Marissa Tomei's done really good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she's held up.
That's true.
Well, I sent you that picture of
cousin Vinny's girlfriend,
Lisa Welchel from and Ralph Macchio's in My Cousin Vinny.
I meant to look at actually look her up when you sent that video, because the quality on the video wasn't really quite
was that
great
your
enough.
Phone taping it off your television?
Yeah, it was.
I tape a lot of shit off my television.
You're just like
here we go.
She
she
definitely didn't. What'd you say? She was 58. She definitely didn't look 58.
No, she's not.
But it's not quite levels of Ralph Macchio where it's like, you look half your fucking age.
And a lot of her youthfulness can be attributed to the way they had her hairstyle too.
Yeah, that could be it too.
Dressed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dressed look young. Yeah. So there's that. I'm sure there's some paparazzi photos that aren't as forgiving. For her.
But, Thomas Ian Griffith didn't age well. He definitely looks his age now. And he's 59.
Who's that?
That's
Silver.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely looks.
He definitely looks to be about 59 years old.
Yeah.
But he's playing for older because he's Vietnam.
Right.
Right.
He's a
So he's
Nam
actually
guy. So
playing
he's
for
playing like 70.
Yeah.
Late 70s.
Which is
mid-70s.
a weird age to be starting a dojo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no comment.
I'm going to start fighting teenage kids again. Okay. All right. That seems like a good call.
Yeah.
Especially when one of them is.
Some people spend their retirement whittling. Some people spend their retirement, doing this or that, other hobbies. And
some people.
Yeah.
God, I'm going to start a karate dojo.
And I don't know how John Kreese is hard to tell no, but I guess whatever. So I'll suspend disbelief.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that's a show that really does, in a lot of ways, require some suspension of disbelief. And everybody's, it's 2020 something, and everybody's got this hardcore dyed-in-the-wall. Karate still figures out everything. Like,
one thing I miss is Courtney Hengler's presence of being like the one person who's like, the only person in the universe who's not suspending disbelief and being
very
like,
much.
What is happening?
Yeah.
Why are we having karate fights
Right.
in our house?
Yeah.
I believe it's because they're setting her up to have a backstory at some point.
I don't.
You don't hook up with the mach.
I don't mean to be
with LaRusso Motors if you're not into karate at some point in time.
I don't mean to be a negative Nancy or anything, but they need to start working on wrapping the show up.
I don't disagree.
They really.
I think they're nearing. Did you watch all of this last season, Ron?
I have not yet.
Okay,
no.
I think they're nearing a conclusion. I don't know. So, I hope they don't try to.
They need to not overstay their welcome.
I hope they don't try to weasel in Hilary Swank.
I don't think they will.
I would be really surprised if they did.
I know they're going to bring Mike Barnes in next season.
Yeah,
I'm sure of it. But especially since the guy who played him has been in interviews and he's completely switched his tune, like about halfway through filming of this season. When they were talking to him, he went from being like, "No, they haven't contacted me. I can't really talk about it." Like, I can't.
Okay.
And he's like totally mum about it now.
Yeah.
And then, and Terry mentioned something in like one of the mid-season episodes about bringing some people back. So I assume it's his buddies from the third, like
it's
Mike and the two dudes.
It's just something that they really with the longevity that it's had now. I'm sure that when they made season 1, nobody had any expectation that it would take off the way that it has. Mm-hmm. But they need to be careful about overstaying their welcome.
Yeah,
and
I think they pulled too far away from it being about Johnny.
Well, it's never been. It's still as enjoyable as the show's been. It hasn't ever reached the heights that it did with season 1.
Yeah,
season 1 was the best of it
because William Zabka's got a lot of charisma, and he really had it like that 40-year-old Johnny character.
Yeah, he did.
He had it nailed.
Yeah,
and they pulled back from that, and I think that was a mistake.
I agree.
Or late 40s, almost 50s Johnny that he had. I think that was where it shined the brightest. And bringing back the villains, I liked John Kreese coming back.
Yeah, the idea really of setting up a season of Kreese is coming back, and that's going to be kind of the focus of this season. Well, and Silver's coming back, so it's going to be the kind of. But again, they're kind of getting to a point where it's like, what else do you got to mine from this?
Yeah,
doing the flashbacks I thought were cool because they could backbuild those their stories a little bit to make them more
absolutely
palatable, basically for the because I don't care about their characters that much, but now that I have a little bit of a backstory about them, then I can care a little bit more. I definitely care about their characters way more than I care about any of the fucking kids.
Right. I do not give a shit about any of the kids.
Yeah.
A little bit about Miguel, because that kid did really well, especially in the first season.
Yeah.
Going from zero to hero and fighting that douchebag kid.
I like what they've done with. I mean, I haven't finished the
Mohawk cleft lip kid is okay.
Yeah, I like. There's been a lot of really good character development.
He's had a good arc
of going from nobody to like hardcore overcorrecting and being a total douchebag to I like what they've done with Hawk a lot.
Yeah, and I don't like Is it Dimitri?
Yeah,
I don't like that kid.
Mm-mm.
I
don't either.
haven't liked him.
Mm-mm.
I liked a couple of his references, like when he would bring in pop culture references, and
He's
I
a little
that stuff was a
insufferable.
little bit funny, but I don't like him, and his constant like, oh, I can't really deal with this. Like, I can't.
Yeah,
I see what you're trying to teach me here.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't figure it out when Miyagi was doing it to you, but I figured it out because I'm super smart, and I don't need to learn muscle memory. Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
You do. You need to learn karate because you're getting your ass kicked all the time, and maybe the muscle memory stuff is really going to work for you.
Yeah,
because it worked for LaRusso, and LaRusso was a little bitch, and it'll work for you because you're a little bitch.
Oh, you said LaRusso was a little bitch, and we lost a viewer.
Oh, sorry, guys. He is though. Sorry,
some hardcore Daniel LaRusso stan on there.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's sitting up on their phones.
shitty word about him.
I'm not going to stand for you listening bad mouthing LaRusso Otto.
No, I don't know.
And he left.
I have a couple things piggybacking off of this for like Netflix related content that I did at least want to touch on. But do we want to?
Yeah, let's move on.
Do we want to go to the news articles or and then circle back?
Yeah, we can circle back.
Okay.
Let's see.
The Ronald McDonald in a face shield.
Yeah,
fucking nightmare fuel.
A woman in England.
Dental dam too.
A woman in England said she will never eat McDonald's again after she bit into something hard while eating food from the fast food chain, only to realize that she had bitten a huge spider.
Ooh.
Katie Moss, not to be mistaken with Kate Moss, 21.
She's never eaten anything.
Yeah, right. She's never eaten McDonald's, that's for sure.
Supermodel
snap.
Unless she throws it up right
A care assistant from Winsford in West England said she ordered a chicken and bacon wrap from McDonald's through the app Just Eat, an online food ordering company based in the United. Okay, I don't care about that part. Get to the fucking. Moss said she was nearly done eating the wrap when she bit into something hard. It wasn't my cock. At first, I thought it was the end of a tomato, so I pulled it out, and at
first I thought it was just part of the chicken.
No, that's at second because you thought it was the tomato.
At first, I thought it was this. Then at first, I thought it was this. But then at first, I thought it was.
But when I looked closer, I thought it was a crab. Then I realized it was a spider.
Because Moss has had crabs 17 times in the last year.
I spat the rest out, but I had bitten into it. I was disgusted.
Well, they say you eat something like 23 or 30 some spiders in your life while you sleep or whatever. This bitch is just getting a little bit of a head start on it. That's
Fact
fine.
check. No, McDonald's doesn't serve human meat. Okay. McDonald's employee leaves out the drive-through window to save a woman choking on a chicken nugget. Chicken McNugget, thank you.
Yeah,
I don't think they're McNuggets anymore. I think they've really gone away from the Mc prefix.
I'm McDisappointed.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think so.
I'm going to have a McFit.
They don't go over that.
My son Mick works there, and everything he says now leads with Mick.
Oh, he's going to be a McManager
he's got
someday.
A McJob.
I'm McAwesome. I'm like, quit being a McDick.
McDickin.
A voucher. Wait, what?
McDickin McNuggets.
A voucher isn't
as soon as this was brought to the
attention.
Okay, so McDonald's issued a statement. Food safety is of the utmost importance to us. We place great emphasis on quality control, following rigorous standards to avoid any imperfections, and we are so sorry to hear of this customer's experience. As soon as this was brought to the attention of the restaurant, the customer was apologized to and offered both a refund and replacement meal. The customer has also returned the item in question, which will enable us to investigate further.
Which all seems fair enough and should be done at that point.
A voucher isn't much good to me. I want proper compensation.
What kind of proper?
And how can you hold?
Did you spill your own hot coffee on your lap? And
what is proper compensation to you?
And how are you expected to catch a spider crawling into your food?
I don't.
Can you prove that it was put there while it was being wrapped? It could have crawled in there while you were eating it. Like anything could have happened there.
Right. It's called there's a human interface that comes with fixing your food. And despite our interruptions, there are still interferences from outside.
So
there's only a certain amount of.
Moss said that the spider was a kind she had never seen before and suspected it wasn't native to the UK. So this uppity 21-year-old bitch is a spider expert. Obviously, it left an odd taste in your mouth. It's a fucking bug.
You sure her name was Katie and not Karen?
I do not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. What do you deem proper compensation, Katie Moss?
I think a guillotine.
Inquiring minds want to know. You want the restaurant shut down? Like what the?
Yeah.
They refunded your money. That in and of itself should be enough. She wants to watch Ronald McDonald eat a spider.
Proper compensation.
Yes,
that's pretty good.
Now I want to watch Ronald McDonald
eat a
spider.
That's pretty good. I don't understand what more do you want? They apologized. They gave you your money back. What, obviously don't eat at that place anymore.
Where does the fucking buck stop?
Like, what else do you want?
Does he need to fight Pennywise
I guess we'll get
in his
you. Yeah.
spider form?
We need. I need $5,000 to pay for my emotional trauma of biting a spider. Like I
move on with your fucking day.
I don't understand.
Mayor McCheese needs to have a throwdown,
right?
Like ex-school cop charged with child sexual abuse. I don't want to read this one. I don't even want to deal with.
It's from Newport,
abuse.
Washington.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with this one.
School.
A
school resource officer, and no thanks. No,
if he's found guilty, just execute him.
No, I don't.
It's more of the same. Like I was just re-listening to an episode we did last month or in December, and where we covered that John Wayne Boaz guy.
Yeah,
it's more
like it's hard to understand where these people like land on their logic, like where they get the idea that this seems like the reason. Like I can't ever get in their headspace.
Nope.
Nope.
And I'm for a fair trial, but if he's found guilty, just execute him. Don't give him.
There's a lot of things that
slap on the wrist. I'm so tired of mealy mouth little sentences for things that just finish them off.
Well, and that's actually a really good segue to the article about the stalker dude.
Oh yeah,
that we were talking about. That was in the Tribune.
You had a couple of local crime.
Yeah. It was. I didn't see. I don't subscribe to the Tribune because they are not worth my money, in my opinion.
No, these come up in my Facebook feed.
I get them in my Facebook feed, and I very, very particularly choose which ones I open or not because they're like,
because you only get the 2 a month.
Yeah,
right?
they're like the fucking, whoa, we're as good as the New York Times, and you only get 2 free articles a month. Like, suck my dick, Tribune. But it was basically found from what I understand that his actions did not meet the definition of stalking. And
anybody's, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Stalking is one of those ones I really don't get.
So I was reading about it. Felony charges against a Lewiston man were dismissed when a judge found his alleged actions did not meet the definition of stalking. Esperance County Magistrate Judge Karen Subert dismissed a stalking charge and a persistent violator charge, both felonies against Andrew D. Brown, following a preliminary hearing last week. Brown was arrested for stalking and burglary January 2nd and issued a no-contact and civil protection orders requiring him not to interact with or go within 300 feet of the alleged victim. He was arrested on January 9th after allegedly driving past the protected person's home and sending her a Facebook friend request.
Oops.
The burglary part interests me.
Yeah. In a preliminary hearing, Subert said the state was not able to show the friend request came from an account established by Brown and that driving past the victim's home did not rise to the level of stalking. Subert revoked a court-ordered $200,000 bond in the case. Brown was released on a previously posted bond of $70,000 associated with the January 2nd charges and faces a February 14th preliminary hearing in that case.
See, that's just lazy police work to me.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is...
I want to know more about the burglary.
Endemic. Well, we won't know until February.
Yeah.
But What a great way for
That
Karen
interests
to
me.
spend her Valentine's Day, huh?
That interests me because there's a big difference between stalking and burglary.
But they're saying driving past the house.
Yeah,
It's
and I
stalking. I think
understand.
that's ridiculous.
I understand that aspect of it. The roads are public. You can't always stop somebody from as. So
I guess it depends on what road this person lives on.
Well, and I
Like-
ran into not to overshare too much of my personal information, but I ran into an issue with my ex-wife about because she has very limited and controlled contact with the kids and stuff like that. And she was driving by the house one day when we were out front, and she elected to stop and try to interact with the kids.
Mhm.
And I was like, I told her, I was like, you can't do this. And her response very immediately was, oh, you're trying to tell me I can't drive on this street. And I said, no, you can drive on the street, but you can't stop and get out of the car. And like, there's a big difference between, yeah, you can fucking drive down my road. That's, I don't know, who gives a shit? But
Right. Yeah.
you know, it's, I don't know.
The Facebook stalking or the Facebook request thing is kind of like,
That could be anybody.
Yeah.
And the amount of times I get friend
so it's
requests
probably him.
from
I've
people
gotten-
I'm already friends with.
Yeah, I've gotten 3 of
Right.
them in the last 2 days
Like
that are bot requests from people that it's like, okay, clearly your account was hacked. I've had literally 3 in the last
and
2
they're
days.
not even hacked. They just take somebody's picture and
Well,
create a name. Like
yeah.
it-
Speaking of bots, the bot from Brian.
oh, that was funny.
I
What?
should read that.
Yeah, we were supposed to do that.
what's
yeah.
this?
We forgot to rehearse it because it was so long ago.
Yeah, let me pull it up here.
What is this that we're talking about?
Okay, so
I'm having a
do you want to give him
a
a
lapse in memory here?
Well, no,
So-
we saved it
Did you
to
send it?
share with you
Yeah,
on the show.
on the show because it was funny.
We were going to read
that
it
in,
back and forth.
Did you send that in our personal?
Yeah, between you and I.
Okay, I'll scroll down.
I'm interested now.
This was funny, like funny.
I feel so out of the loop. Well, while you guys do
Well,
some,
it's
Here it
Elks
is.
related, and that's what,
Oh,
how it
okay.
ended up.
I see.
Just being between Chris and I. So then we were going to save it for
Okay.
the show. I'm getting to it too.
Well, while you guys do this,
I was supposed to be the bot.
Ron's
Yes.
recommendations, if you haven't, absolutely, unequivocally, check out Midnight Mass on Netflix. It is not maybe quite
Oh,
as
I love
scary
it.
as I expected it to be.
Yeah, you
but,
and I were watching that
you
at
and
the same
you and
time.
I talked about it. Yeah, I don't know if you finished it yet, but I did finish it. It's fucking spectacular. I love the ending. Really strong recommendation. Also on Netflix, Archive 81.
Oh, is that good?
I've heard that that's good.
I would recommend watching it. It does. It ends pretty weakly.
Your
I
words
will
say this, but your face says no.
and well, it's tough to it's like Game of Thrones. It's tough to recommend something that you know has a weak ending,
Oh.
but it's a good show, and
How many
it's
episodes?
like 7.
Okay,
it's not
so
a big
not
time
big
commitment.
investment.
But the ending didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And Tori and I have talked about it a little bit since then, and the ending both of us felt the same way.
Are they like 42 minutes?
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
could probably-
but it's a little frustrating at times, but it's worth the time.
Rick talked me into Letterkenny, so I'm watching that. That's fucking hilarious.
I
It is.
like it, but I can't. I have to watch it in really small doses. It's not something I can watch. It irritates me a little bit.
It's nice because I can watch 2 episodes.
The
and be done and go to
the
sleep.
parts
Yeah.
like not all of the characters are super endearing. Like I don't like the weird gothy guys.
No, the meth
I don't like
heads.
the hockey
the
kids.
meth heads annoy me. The hockey guys made me laugh at first, but holy shit, run that joke into the ground, bro.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, yeah, and
Squeeze your
that's
cheeks,
that's
bro.
my biggest complaint about the show is that everything really gets fucking run into the ground fast. Like I haven't watched probably the last 2 seasons.
Boy, that girl with the cunt punts is fantastic.
Yeah,
though.
right. Yeah,
and they do it just enough.
Yeah,
that they
she's
stay
great.
fresh.
She's great.
She just walks up and kicks that girl, and then she goes up and kicks the other girl, and you're like, yes, these are spaced out enough that they don't get worn out.
It's also a show that I've noticed, or I started to notice, skates by on catchphrases. They become kind of over reliant on them. I thought, I like it. I don't love it.
Yeah. It's witty enough.
Brand New Cherry Flavor was a show that I got recommended to me tangentially from Archive 81. And it's from the people who did a show on Sci-Fi Channel called Channel Zero. And if you've never watched Channel Zero is fucking great. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel. It is like American Horror Story done well. The seasons are self-contained little stories. Yeah, Tori's right. Archive 81 had us really fucking all in until, and I wouldn't even say the last 20 minutes. I would say like the last episode.
Does it get preachy?
No, it just starts to kind of not make sense. It just gets, I still don't fully understand the ending.
Too much is
what happened, and I don't fully understand what happened. I don't know if it's supposed to be self-contained or if there's supposed to be like a sequel. I don't know. It confused me. But Brand New Cherry Flavor is hands down the weirdest thing I've seen in a hot minute. Girl goes to Hollywood or is in Hollywood to try and get her movie produced. The producer, and this is all in the first episode, the producer is like, fuck yeah, you're a first-time director and that's something we don't do, but I appreciate your vision, and your short film that you made that we're going to turn into a full movie is amazing, and blah 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 blah. And he's just a rapey producer who wants to fuck her on the side.
Got that Weinstein.
Yeah, basically. And she takes great fucking offense to it and decides that she's going to put a curse on him, and it's like an actual curse. And it is weird as shit.
Where does she get this curse?
From Catherine Keener's character.
Okay.
And there's like at one point she vomits up a cat, like an actual alive cat. It's, I don't know.
Catherine Keener or the girl?
The girl.
Okay.
It's weird as fuck. We're like, I think we're like 2 or 3 episodes into it. I'm gonna stick it out just to see where it goes. I don't know how much I like it. I kind of like it. It's not bad enough that I'm like, man, fuck this. But it is weird as shit. I swear I've seen the main girl that's in it somewhere before. I don't remember where or if I actually have, but she looks really familiar.
But if you're in Hollywood, the best place to get curses actually is Catherine Keener.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
I was going to say that tracks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's if you're looking to watch something that has a lot of what the fuck to it,
it's that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this occurred at 9:20 a.m. I'm going to start because
I'm excited.
Don't name drop anybody.
I won't.
So just say
I'm excited.
But this is coming from our leader.
And it started. And the first text is signed like it's a note or an email.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Really weird. But it started at 9:20 a.m. And it says, "How are you doing? Hope you are not occupied at the moment. It's Brian. Are you available via text?" And then it's signed with his full name.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Now, is this just directly to you?
This is a text message
this is a text message
to me.
Directly to Ward.
Oh, it's to Ward.
This comes to me.
Okay.
And then in the background, I'm interacting with Chris. I start to interact with Chris. I go, does Brian have another cell phone? Because I have Brian's cell phone number.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I don't think so. So I start a text with Brian. I'm like, this isn't you. I want to be like, is this you? So I'm already kind of like, I think it's suspect. But,
yeah.
So, but I do respond. I said, via text, yes, just working from my home office.
And it comes back with, "Glory be to God. I'm contemplating on giving the lodge officers some incentives during this new year, and I thought to get them gift cards as a sign of acknowledgement of what they have done through the year, and I will be glad if you can help me work it out, and I will reimburse you. Thank you.
So then I respond, sounds perfect. The only concern I have is Andrew. He's just been kind of phoning it in, if you get my meaning. That event in September was not good. I had several complaints from the staff and a few from guests. I think giving him an incentive would be counterintuitive, if I'm being honest. What do you think? And then I sign off, Bill Faraday.
Yes, I understand, Bill. That's why I have decided to surprise the staffs. I need you to purchase 10 quantities of eBay gift cards with a $100 value on each card, $1,000 in total. You should get them at any grocery store or local store around you. After you get the cards, remove all from the package. Take clear pictures of the front back of each card and send them to me here so I can forward it to them individually through their cell phone or email address. Please keep the physical cards and receipt for reference purposes. I will reimburse you before the ending of the week.
Now, the receipt thing...
Thanks for your support.
That's meant to make me feel at ease with this, right? So he wants me to keep my receipts because he plans to reimburse me. So that should make me feel okay to do this.
Yeah, like snuggle nuts.
Yeah. I said, goodness, you have such a big heart. Do you think we should execute Andrew, though? He's a dick. I don't like him. Andrea from the staff said she would help dispose of him. Let me know what you think. Oh, that reminds me. I know you've been struggling with maintaining your erections lately. Don't sweat it. It happens to the best of us. Watching Andrew's execution might get you hard. I know it will me. I hate that guy.
Kindly help me purchase them. I will decide on who should get the gift cards or not.
Yeah, totally going to get to that. But what about Andrew? Should I get some lye or something and a barrel to dissolve him in? It's probably going to be a whole day thing.
We will probably talk about him when I'm less busy.
I mean, it's kind of pressing, like it's the primary thing on my mind at the moment. And don't worry, I think I still have your account information, so I can get the cards that way. Cut out the middleman. This is super generous of you. We probably should do something about Andrew's family, too. That little one, Teddy, he seems like he could come around when he comes of age and get revenge. I don't mean to add more to your plate here, but it's probably for the best if we take care of Andrea as well. She said she'd help, but I don't trust her that much. She told Connie about the time I took extra coleslaw at the buffet table. She's such a loudmouth bitch. So listen, probably going to need your help with this whole thing. I'd keep your weekend free. I'm on my way to your place right now. Andrew's in the back. I want to get there before he wakes up.
Okay, no problem.
LOL. I was just about to ask what a problem was. Hilarious. So I'm glad we're on the same page. I'm really excited to get started on this. I appreciate all your help and support. Do you have sharp knives or a hacksaw handy? Plastic bags? I just really don't want to show up on a Home Depot video getting the needed implements to get this done when the police start to investigate Andrew's disappearance. The more supplies we have on hand already, the less public exposure. Then he ghosts me.
Man, I feel bad for all the people that are listening to this on, Spotify or iTunes or whatever that haven't been able to see my face because, oh my God. Oh, I'm not going to lie. That ranks, their initial lead in is right up there with scams that I've seen.
Yeah.
That was really solid on their part.
I'm surprised at how much
goddamn
information they had. I mean, they
yeah,
really
that's impressive.
did it really well.
That's really impressive.
It's like the one I got that.
Oh, that's
its number
funny.
Went back to
that's funny.
An office in New York that was rented by the Social Security Administration, and then when I was starting to give them shit, they called me from the local police department's number. And,
yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
I told them that, one, there was no female detective on at the time, and two, no one that worked there had a Bangladeshi accent. And they're like, how could you possibly know that? I was like, because there's less than 40,000 people in this town. And I know a lot of the people that work at the police department here. Oh, and then they just hung up on me. But it was, I mean, they had the ability to clone the police department's phone number.
That's impressive.
And do it with the local police department, so they at least knew where they were calling.
Yeah.
And this one, somehow they'd gotten.
Yeah, they had a lot of information.
They'd gotten.
They had to have gotten information off of Brian's phone at some point,
Right.
where he's had exchanges about Lodge, Elks, something to that effect, where they could parse together enough information to.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's a sophisticated scam right
there to
there.
make it sound legit.
Right.
I always make jokes about how the fuck do people fall for that kind of stuff, but honestly, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Still not solid enough to get you to fall for it.
It didn't get me, but I mean, it's
there.
getting more sophisticated for sure. So I mean, eventually they're gonna get me at some point. Like,
well, luckily they didn't use his phone number.
Oh yeah.
Well, and two, like, would you actually?
Well, that's the thing
that was a conversation we had later too. It was like,
I need you to go
I'm
buy
friendly
these
with Brian,
gift cards,
but we're not in a position where
yeah.
I think he would like. I would probably tell either of you two no.
Yeah,
I don't have
right?
I don't have the resources to just be able to do that.
To go drop $1,000 on gift cards.
On gift cards.
Yeah.
No thanks.
And when you do it, I don't want you to deliver the gift cards to me the next time I see you at the lodge. What I would like is I'd like you to just take pictures of them and send it to me. That'll be sufficient. They don't need the actual cards. They just need the information that's on the cards.
Right. I'm going to forward those to them.
None of that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely none of that makes sense. But that seems like if you were of even our lodge's average age, that seems like something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh,
absolutely.
God, I could do that.
See what you
for sure.
What you really should do is you should just start like randomly calling that phone number back and asking them if they have any questions about an extended warranty for their car.
Okay.
I almost
your car's extended warranty.
I had a couple ideas after the fact where I thought about getting going online, finding pictures of gift cards with scratched out stuff and like sending those to him and being like, here they are. Let me know if that works.
Right.
Does this work for you?
My mom got duped by some people who called, she called them actually because she was foolish enough to just push the first phone number that she saw on Google, but her internet was down and she tried to call Cable One and she got some person in Florida and it was I love her to death, but as soon as she was done explaining to me what it was that they duped her with, I was like, Mom, how did you fall for this? Like the whole premise was that she was calling a Cable One employee and the Cable One employee was setting her up with a new cable internet service because Cable One was going to be down for like a week. And I was like, Cable One would not be like, oh yeah, by all means, cancel your contract with us and start a contract with a new I was like, Mom, there was your first red flag. And she goes, oh yeah, you're right. But I called them back and was giving the person a hard time. And I kept getting transferred to somebody who's, oh, yeah, I will get you to a manager. Oh, I will get you to a manager. And I was like, look, I need you to tell me the name of your business so that I can report you to the Better Business Bureau. And they're like, well, we're not actually a business. We're a third-party organization that's contracted through. And I was like, okay, you still have a business name, even if you're a third-party organization. And they're like, well, yes,
what's
but
the name of your third-party organization?
And the one guy had the audacity to tell me that he didn't know.
And I was like, wait, semantics with me, or I'll come down to your home office and burn it to the ground. I was like,
wait, you expect me to believe that you show up every day to work for a company and you don't know the name of that company?
No, there's a blowtorch with your name.
Oh man, it was funny.
It's not a flamethrower.
I had an afternoon to kill and I wasn't doing anything interesting, so I decided to fuck with these Iranian people back, but they had hardcore Middle Eastern accents and I was a little bit pissed. But
I had one last year that said, hello, will you allow Mountain Dew drink to put a small sticker on your car, truck, or motorcycle and get $500 driving with our brand advertisement? Click here to apply. So I did some quick research, discovered it was a scam. I figured it was anyway. And that's what like a lot of people just need to do is like, okay, open a separate window.
That's the very first. Yeah, I tell Mom.
and
Very
like,
first thing you should do is Google it.
So I said, hey, this sounds great. I love Mountain Dew drink. I am also way behind on some bills. $500 would be really good start to turning my life around. Is there something I could do to expedite the process? Would my social security number and bank routing numbers help? And they never responded.
Really?
No, they
didn't answer?
They wanted me to follow a link. So it's probably a dead.
It's
dead
a shotgun
text,
blast for you to. It wants people to just click a link so it can, whether it's
scam you from there,
worms your phone or whatever. Just I don't know. I won't even generally follow links from people I trust. Sometimes every once in a while, if I'm getting a bunch of messages and if I get a bunch of messages, I start to get frustrated and get upset. Like I don't even like getting text messages from people, but
yeah,
you know, you'll get those people like, why call me when a text message will do? I don't even want a fucking text message. Why bother me if leaving me alone will do?
Right.
Just quit messaging me entirely. If you don't have something distinctly important to say, just don't say it.
Says the guy who sends us photoshopped children's book covers constantly.
Yes.
Those are funny.
They are.
I'll Sometimes I run out of laughs to give, though.
They are.
Oh, yeah. Here's another one.
Well, sometimes my phone will ding because I'm expecting something. I'm like,
oh,
good.
Is
oh,
something
fuck.
I'm expecting? Oh, no, it's just another one of Chris's.
It's another one of the child
graphic.
It's a kid shit their pants. Children's book cover. No,
you guys are the only ones that care about nasty jokes. But you know what I mean? Like you just get an endless wave of.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And I try and keep those things to a minimum, but every once in a while one will come across my feed and it'll just be so funny. Or I think it's funny. Anyway.
Man, that yeah. Scams are getting a little more sophisticated than maybe I realized. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. You saw what I titled the last or the most recent episode I posted, right?
I think so. I've already
don't
forgotten.
think
Big old sloppy slug.
I don't think so.
Big old sloppy what?
Big old sloppy slug. It's a reference to the episode.
Yeah. It's been so long since we've had an episode.
I know. Well, and I still got to post the one with Bruno.
Yeah.
The final episode of the year.
Yeah. And then this is the first episode of 2022.
But shit, the one before that had I even had a birthday then?
I don't think so.
Oh, Saint Maud. Yeah, there's another.
No,
one.
You hadn't.
No, because that was like.
I think we did it the 7th, and your birthday's the 9th.
Yeah, it was the day before.
That was on Hulu. Saint Maud. Crazy bitch that does in-home care and has a dark past, starts caring for this woman who's got terminal cancer, and she becomes obsessed with saving her soul. And fucking great movie. Really fucking great movie. It's one of those movies where through the whole thing you don't know if the person is crazy or if the person is really, like, the whole premise is that she talks to God. And they toe the line through the entire movie of whether or not she actually talks to God.
Oh, like
and
Frailty.
then like really similar to Frailty, except for there is just this like 2-second long boom right at the end before the credits roll that tell you whether or not it was real or not. And it's fucking great. Really good movie. I actually watched it twice in 2 days because Tori fell asleep during it because we started it really late. And yeah. Strong recommendation. It's on Hulu. I think it's also on Paramount Plus. It is.
I like that stuff you can catch on different things.
Just
so
a
you don't
quick.
Have to have every
it's like 85 minutes long. Real short. Not a big time investment.
You know what I watched yesterday?
Really good movie.
Finally, the Total Recall remake. It's not bad.
I still have never seen that. Actually,
it's on the Netflix.
I've still really
with Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell.
I've
still never watched that.
And Jessica Biel.
I've still never watched that.
It's not terrible. I mean, it's definitely PG-13, but it's not like I don't understand why it got so much hate. Except nobody likes it when you touch Schwarzenegger movies.
Well, and isn't it a lot more in line with the book than it is with the Schwarzenegger movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are a couple of little references that you catch, like, ha, that's a little nod to Schwarzenegger. But I don't know. I didn't hate it. And I was sure that because
it's on Netflix, you said?
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Nicole and I went to Scream last weekend.
I don't know how to feel about that movie.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't, and I can't decide how much I want to see it.
The Full Fat Videos guy really liked it, which is interesting.
So
he's a dude that I generally support.
I've got mixed feelings on it. It's definitely one that I think you can enjoy while you're sitting in the theater, but as you start to like break it down afterward, you're like, or even as it's nearing the end of it, because of the nature of that particular franchise.
Yeah,
it's self-referential.
It's so meta.
So, and they get really heavy-handed with it toward probably the last third of the movie.
Like
really?
Matrix heavy-handed?
Well,
see,
a lot of like because they're it's referencing the Stab
movies. Yeah,
movies.
I heard. I can't remember who it was, but I heard at least once or twice that it kind of had a meta-ness and a reverence to the previous movies in the way that the Matrix Resurrections should have.
Yeah,
that it succeeded where that movie kind of failed.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it did fine that way, but at the same time, it also didn't. It took away from its potential to set itself. I don't know, make it unique, I guess.
Yeah,
to the friend, like to separate itself from the fucking. And I didn't even like. There was a movie. I think there's a Scream movie that I didn't even watch.
The fourth one?
I think so.
See, I have no memory of the fourth one. Yeah, there is, and I have no memory of it. It was.
I don't know why they didn't call it Scream 5.
Emma Roberts was in it.
They even joked about that in the.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
okay.
They were already making jokes about the movie they were in, using the Stab movies.
I'll watch it, but I'm not going to go to the theater for it.
Well, Matrix was doing that too. I mean, they were saying that they were being forced to make.
Dude, I hate that.
Before the studio made its own piece of shit.
I hated that movie
version
so passionately. Matrix.
I didn't even watch it.
I didn't hate it.
I really, and it was.
There was a lot of unmemorable bullshit.
It was one like I felt very similar to it as I did with the new Star Wars trilogy, where the more that I thought about it, the more that I disliked it. It was, I don't know. It was trying to be clever.
Yeah, there was not a lot of memorable anything.
No.
And it just kind of happened.
Yeah, I'll be curious to kind of hear what you guys' thoughts on the Scream movie is. Once you see it, I wouldn't rush out to like. I'd almost even just wait for it to be.
Oh, I will.
Free somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rush to see it. I'll wait until I can watch it at home. I was really, with Wes Craven being dead, I was really meh about it.
I predicted the killer very early on,
and then I found out that the people who did Ready or Not were directing it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe, Ready or Not was fucking great. I think it's still on Netflix if you haven't watched it. It's fantastic.
I predicted almost the exact outcome of Nightmare Alley about 20 minutes in, and it's like,
how was that?
2.5-hour movie. It's good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. It's like a really long Twilight Zone episode.
I would, if I was going to the theater, I'd go see that before I'd go see Scream.
I would too. It was good. I did too.
Is it Jack Quaid? Man, I don't even want to spoil myself, but
what you want to know?
Kinda.
Okay. Well,
don't spoil it on the show.
Yeah, no,
Spoil it
I'll
after
talk
the
to you.
don't.
I'll talk
Yeah,
to
I
you
was going to say,
off
don't
the
spoil
air.
it on the show because I'm sure we. Yeah, that's a movie. That's one thing that I really don't like about the Scream movies is it's such a central whodunit that if you know who the killer is before you watch the movie, it really makes watching the movie pointless.
It's funny. We watched the first one, Alex and I did last week, and he picked it, and then he was like, "Wait a minute, I thought he was the killer," and then
Oh,
and then,
and then it was like, oh shit, I was
and
right.
then he was
Okay.
like, "Oh, I was right, but so's his buddy," and I was like, "Yeah, they get you there, huh?"
The
And he's like, "That was really cool."
See, Matthew was asking me about watching those movies, and I initially told him no, just because the violence is so visceral.
The first one,
You know
wasn't.
what? Nah.
Like watching through the first one again,
It's
it
not.
wasn't.
Oh, really?
Not
It's
when
been
you
a long
compare it
time
to
since I've
stuff
watched
that
it.
that's
Well,
and you got to remember.
I remember seeing it and thinking that it was more, but like he was like, "That knife is obviously rubber," because he stabs that girl in the chest and the knife like bends, and you're like, "Oh Jesus!" Like it. I don't remember it being so noticeable.
It's been
And
a
it
long time since
really
I've watched them.
is.
It's been a really long time since I've watched them.
And it could have been because we watched it in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
But he's like, "Dad, that knife is rubber."
I know that when we watched the original trilogy, they were really like the first three were really popular, and then I thought it was going to be done after that.
It should have been.
It should have been. It really didn't need sequels, honestly.
I remember watching the fourth one, the one with Emma Roberts. I remember watching it.
Yeah.
And it being like, you probably didn't need to do that.
Yeah. That was how I felt. There was a lot of, I had to go on Wikipedia and like, oh yeah, that's what happened in that movie. Because I kept getting it and the third one confused.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Like, because when I was watching in the theater, this new one, I kept wanting to get my phone out, because I'll do that at home when I'm watching something that has history, or if I'm curious about an actor, or where have I seen that guy. So then I'll pull my phone out and fucking play around, and I wanted to do that.
I remember the second one being really good.
I enjoyed the second one.
The first one was really good. It's a solid movie.
And I remember at the time, like Kevin Williamson wrote those in like nothing flat,
like brief succession.
Well, yeah, and he wrote them all
in a few days over a weekend.
He wrote them all in sequence too. He wrote the three of them together.
No, I don't think that was he wrote he might have had outlines from.
Yeah, no, the whole thing was written as outlines. That was how they pitched the initial thing. Was they pitched three movies that were all three outlines.
I didn't remember that. I just know that he wrote the first script in like a weekend.
Yeah. Because they had a really hard time getting Wes Craven on board initially.
That's too bad.
But
see, I don't think he was necessary to the process.
Yes and no.
He's just another dude.
He's just a horror director.
Yeah.
Arguably, probably the horror director at the time.
I'm going to,
or the probably the reason they wanted him was because he was
Tori and I
the go-to.
Going to watch The Last Duel here. We were going to start it the other day, but we realized it was like 12 o'clock at night. And I was like, nope, not starting it.
It's a 2+ hour movie. Yeah.
But I really, really want to watch it.
I want to watch it. I've heard it's supposed to be good.
It looks so good.
Matt Damon's
Ridley Scott.
Even Matt Damon and Ben Affleck's dumb hairstyles and goatees.
Yeah.
You're supposed to look past those. I don't know.
The premise of it, I guess, is that it's broken up into, because the story of the movie is about the gal from Killing Eve allegedly getting raped by Adam Driver. And I guess the movie is broken into 3 sections where they show the first section, they show it from Matt Damon's perspective.
It's a Rashomon kind of.
Yeah. And then they show it from her perspective, and then they show it from Adam Driver's perspective, or some
never seen Rashomon
kind of thing.
I've seen everything that's derivative of Rashomon.
Right. No, we meant to watch it, and we watched like the first 5 minutes of it just to kind of get a feel. And it looks good, and I trust Ridley Scott for the most part.
I know.
I mean, even
I thought
even
Tony
the
was the better director, but like you think of Hannibal and Gladiator and Alien,
Yeah.
and
Tony's the
just
one
like-
that jumped off the bridge, right?
yeah,
but he did Man on Fire, and that's maybe the best movie ever.
it's right up there.
I love that movie.
Probably the best Denzel movie.
Yeah, and Denzel's
I
got
mean,
a lot of good movies.
Yeah, or at least in the discussion.
But
But
that's a top 5 of all time for me.
it had
I
a very
love Man on Fire.
it had a very Gladiator kind of look and feel to it.
Mhm.
Of like,
It's an epic movie.
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
but all of Ridley Scott's movies, even Alien,
have that.
feels very epic.
Yeah.
Because he's got a lot of really sweeping shots,
Mm-hmm.
and he makes things feel big. Like when you look at Hannibal as compared to like Silence of the Lambs or Red Dragon, it's just got a real sweeping feel to it. Whereas the other two are very personal,
Yeah.
tight movies, and Hannibal,
Especially
right before
Silence
he
of the
feeds
Lambs. There's
Ray
so many
Liotta his brain.
tight close-ups in that movie.
Yeah, that whole movie is right in your face. And but like when they go to that cabin, there's that sweeping shot over the lake into the cabin, and just that whole movie is just amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy ass movies that I should have seen at some point but never did you ever see Killing Them Softly?
Oh, the Brad Pitt one?
Yeah,
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it.
it was
Dialogue it was
heavy.
wasn't bad.
Ben Mendelsohn
By
was
any
just
means.
insane.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
looked like you could smell him.
Yeah.
Like he looked so terrible.
I
thought of that because of Ray Liotta, but and James Gandolfini was just an absolute piece of shit.
it was
20 minutes of screen time was just solid. Just yelling at that prostitute.
I don't know. I guess I would say I liked it. I didn't love it. You know,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, but it was a tight, like 84-minute movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not enough.
I think it
of those.
was really misrepresented by its trailers and promotional material and stuff. They really.
It never blipped my radar, but I think it came out in 12, and I was indisposed.
Yeah.
I was indisposed for a lot of the army. I'm not sure. Ridley Scott.
Ridley
Tony
Scott, I'm assuming.
the Scotts themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them were great. Ridley's still around, but he could have been talking about Denzel.
Right. No, it's one that I definitely Last Duel is one that I'll probably realistically watch before we have another show.
Yeah,
I've been trying.
I will too.
I've been trying to find time to watch it. It's just when you work and you got kids and da da da. Yeah, it's on HBO
It's on
Max.
HBO Max.
Oh.
It's just can be tough to find. Oftentimes, the problem that Tori and I will run into is by the time the kids are in bed and everything's all settled and whatnot, we can turn on a movie or turn on a show. That's why we watch so many shows. We don't have time to watch a 2.5 hour, 2 hour and 40-minute movie before we have to get to bed.
2.5 hour movies.
That's one of the things I like so much about Saint Maud. Like I said, it's like 84 minutes. It's fucking tight. Perfect.
Yeah, 90 minutes is a good.
Yeah, you
movie
can
length.
watch it. You don't have to. You can get it done and go to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
My biggest apprehension about starting a 2+ hour movie is I'm not going to make it through it.
Yeah.
So
because like we
those
started,
I have to start in the middle of the afternoon.
I have to finish it. I meant to talk to you about this actually, and I forgot to. We started Ghostbusters the other day, and we started it too fucking late in the day, and the new one.
Oh, Afterlife.
Yeah, Afterlife, and I really, really fucking enjoyed it.
Yeah.
From everything that I saw, I really enjoyed it.
There's a lot of people that are bitching. A lot of people are having like a 2 weeks later, they're like, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought. But I don't agree. I think they hit that nostalgia just right. I don't think that they didn't rely too much on the old guys. Some people say there wasn't enough old guys, but I don't know. Those guys are all really old now.
I'll confess when we bought it when it came to streaming, and I watched the beginning part of it again and most of it before I fell asleep at one point. But I went back in and like fast forwarded to the scene with all the old everybody reunion or all the old guys coming back, the original cast coming back.
Yeah.
And with Ghost Egon. Just because that was fun to watch again.
Yeah.
And I could watch that again. And there are certain parts of I think this, like with a lot of movies, that you could probably just dispose of or not necessarily enjoy as much. But it's one you could sit down and have popcorn with again.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely revisit and watch the remainder of it because I really enjoyed what I saw. I am interested to see the rest of it because it was nostalgia done right.
And that matters. Like, I get a little nostalgia, but it seems like that's all they're banking on because the world peaked in the 90s and now it's just on a downhill slope.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't remember. So I guess we're in this unique little bubble where we had all this stuff come out that is in the 80s and 90s that's revisitable now, but we didn't have quite the same. Like, I don't remember when I was growing up a lot of like sequels to stuff from my parents' generation.
Well, an interesting thing, and I didn't realize this until just a few months back, but I don't know why I was watching TV with Mom and Grandpa, but this movie called State Fair came on, and it was old and it was colorized, and we looked it up, and this was the third time in 4 years this movie had been made with a different cast. And it's a musical. It was a Rodgers and Hammerstein.
It's got like 12 Angry Men syndrome.
Yeah. And so and everybody's like, yeah, we make too much stuff now and yada, yada, yada. And nobody knows, nothing's original. Nothing's ever been original.
No.
Like, Hollywood's always just retreaded shit.
No, they go back to the well all the time. There's stuff that you'll watch. You could pick up a movie from 50 years ago and you're like, oh, what is this bullshit? But then you watch it and it's like, oh, this is actually better than shit we have now.
Oh,
and it's because it feels like it's the first time it was done.
Yeah.
And
good.
So you can remake anything you want. I don't care anymore.
And example, to kind of piggyback on top of that, a show that Tori and I just recently started. I'm sure you've seen a plethora of ads for it. Ghosts on CBS.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Did you know that Ghosts on CBS is a remake of a BBC show that is still currently running?
Yeah, that's fine. Just like they did the Office. It was a shitty show in Britain, and it was a shitty show here.
It's fucking great. The BBC Ghost is actually really fucking funny.
Is it?
I haven't watched the CBS one yet, but we're like 3 episodes maybe into it. Like, it's one we've just kind of watched here and there. But it's been really, really goddamn funny.
Great.
I've been really impressed with it. But I don't know. The whole originality thing is never an argument that that's not a hill I'm going to die on because nothing is original.
Nothing. There's fucking 4 stories.
Look at
20. Maybe.
Look at everything that came out from, shall we say, like the early 90s to like the late 90s. How many movies that came out were, it's Die Hard in a it's Die Hard in a plane. It's Die Hard at the even the stuff that is not a direct derivative remake, pardon me,
right,
is still at its essence a remake of something.
Yeah, it's a dude crawling around in ductwork.
Yeah, it's
whether it's Air Force One or
it's Die Hard. Well, I mean, Bruce Willis has essentially made like 37 Die Hard movies.
Right.
And maybe 6 of them were called Die Hard.
Yeah.
But they're all Die Hard movies.
God, I love Die Hard with a Vengeance. I watched that the other day.
That is probably
I love that movie so much.
From that dude doing naked kata from the beginning all the way through
Right.
when the plane blows up and the seat goes way up.
I love the shot of him in the seat going way up. It's
so bad.
It is the essence of so bad it's good because he's like, yeah, it's great.
I'm interested in the new Lethal Weapon.
They're making a new Lethal Weapon?
Yeah, Mel Gibson's directing it.
I was not aware of this.
Yeah. I don't
Man,
get
Danny Glover literally is too old for this shit. I'm sure I'm
Yes.
not the first person to make that joke, but goddamn.
Die Hard in Space.
Oh, the one with Guy Pearce, Lockout, I think
Yeah.
is what it's called.
So, we were
that
talking
was
about
literally Die Hard in Space.
It was.
It was a great movie, though.
Talking about how people don't age, and like a lot of times black people, I would say Danny Glover defied that because he was only like 47
When he was too
or
old for that
43
shit.
when he was like too old for that
Yeah,
shit.
he was
Yeah.
2
He
years
was
older
young.
than me.
Yeah, he was young at the time, but that's like Wilford Brimley too. Though that era of
There were
people
just a
coming up,
bunch of people who
they
were
were
just
young,
too
but they
old.
just looked old. Like
Well-
Wilford Brimley and Paul Rudd at the same age.
Yeah.
Wilford Brimley is one of those guys that I respectfully would have to disagree with you, Mox. I would not call Fifth Element Die Hard in Space.
No, that wasn't a Die Hard movie.
I respectfully, as
Neither
much
was
as
Armageddon.
I saw that movie like 6 or 7 times in the theater because I absolutely fucking love it, but I would not classify that as a Die Hard clone.
No.
But Wilford Brimley was one that he was like the opposite of Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Yes.
He looked 60 when he turned 18, and he just always looked 60 for the rest
He's
of
like,
his life.
everybody's like,
he
"Can you
had
play
that-
80?" I sure can.
He had pattern baldness, and I think he was a blonde guy. He had that blonde hair,
Oh, that
and but it's not a is it a Christmas? It's not a Christmas movie. And so his hair always looked gray. So Wilford Brimley always looked old.
Yeah,
at the risk of embarrassing myself
What was that
here.
whole cast?
At-
Younger than they looked?
At the risk of embarrassing
Jessica
myself here, I am going to say the only person that did duct crawling in Fifth Element was Mila Jovovich, not Bruce Willis. She crawls in the ducks to get away from the guys, and they do the big shoot.
Pretty sure you'd let her crawl in your gut.
If I'm remembering correctly,
Wife problems.
I like the check marks.
I do. Yeah. Yes, but it's not a guy trapped in a place that has to get out. That's what I'm talking about in terms of a Die Hard clone.
Yeah.
It has similarities, yes, Mox. I do agree with you there. But the premise of the Die Hard thing, like Chris said with Air Force One, guys trapped in a place with terrorist bad guys, can't get out of the place, has to stop them. That's what I mean when I say Die Hard clone.
Get off.
Like Lockout, the one with Guy Pearce. That only if I get to watch. I like Mila Jovovich, always have, even if she was in those garbage Resident Evil movies.
I love those. They're not Resident Evil, but they're so much fun.
They are pretty silly fun.
I own those, or I think I lost one.
The
but
Blu-ray box set.
No,
I bought it for my dad here
but I don't know how much.
a couple of years ago.
I don't know how much I'd enjoy rewatching them today, as I would have enjoyed watching them in my.
The one where they fight in Vegas.
I think that was the
late
second
20s.
one.
No,
See, that's my biggest
Yeah,
problem is which one is which.
I
I
lose
think
which
it's the
one's
third
which. I'd have
They
to.
reset every movie,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
hard to
it's
keep
a-
track.
Her powers reset.
Did anybody watch the
which
new
one
Resident
is
Evil?
it where
Speaking
where
of?
they have to get her naked?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
all
think
of
that's
them.
all of them too. But like
She does
goes-
frontal in the first one,
it's crazy. Like
which I
She-
forgot about.
she finally, like the first one, she's kind of a Captain America-ish
Yeah.
power level, and then by the third one, she's got like
Thank you,
flaming
Tori.
telekinesis,
Yeah.
and she can control like everything. And then there's an army of her at the end,
Tell you what, man, you want to watch speaking of Mila Jovovich, you want to watch a movie that'll hurt your fucking brain. Watch Ultraviolet.
Oh, is that pretty crazy?
Whoa. That's a bad, that's a Sci-Fi Channel movie with a budget to match that somehow made it into theater. It is bad. It's real bad.
See, that one I totally get, like the girl being able to just kick the shit out of the dudes because she has superpowers. But like, have you seen the trailers for this 355 thing?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. Like those girls' hands would break. They're
Atomic Blonde.
I've heard that one.
Have you not watched it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you should.
I know I should.
It's great.
Charlize Theron.
It's really great. It's really genuinely good.
The peak of my
it's
hall pass.
It's one of the in terms of that what you're talking about of the little 115-pound, 130-pound lady beating up. Charlize Theron sells the shit out of it.
Yeah,
like it's a good show.
I just haven't ever seen it available on any of the streaming services that I have access to.
It's really great. I saw. Where did I see it? I saw a preview for that 355 movie, and I was like, "Oh, this looks."
Yeah.
I don't know about all this.
It's like the female Equalizer TV show with Queen Latifah. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Well, they're not. Yeah, and
she's just a fat girl.
Well, and to
Like,
piggyback off of that, but similar but different. It's not so much that she's definitely not in the shape that a person would need to be to beat the shit out of people. She's old, bro.
Yeah.
Jessica Chastain, Diane Kruger, all these chicks. Penelope Cruz is old as shit.
Yeah.
She is not going to be beating people up. I'm sorry.
They need to make way for some new young.
Hey, Amy.
Talent.
Hi, Ollie. I'm sorry I'm over here swearing talking about old ladies, but yeah, no, it's like if you're going to make a movie like the 355,
being an out of shape marijuana smoking rapper.
Queen Latifah could not be a worse choice for. I mean,
you could not fight Denzel Washington style. You couldn't.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's not believable.
I'm not
at all.
I'm not being sexist. I'm not. Just a lifetime of poor lifestyle choices.
That 355. That's a movie you need to make with
27-year-old women,
like up and coming chicks.
Yep.
That you could at least kind of try and sell it, but all these I would be willing. I'm gonna guess that Lupita Nyong'o is the youngest of them. I think.
Probably.
I could be wrong, but I think she's the youngest of them.
She's the one from Black Panther, right?
Yeah.
I can't tell sometimes because she's bald sometimes, and sometimes she's not.
Yeah, she's pretty.
So, yeah.
She was in that. She's got a movie on Hulu called Little Monsters, where she's like a teacher. Taking some kids on a little field trip thing and zombies outbreak. It's great. It's really funny. It's got some really, really good examples of quality screenwriting, like setup and payoff. It was an enjoyable movie. I really liked it. Tori, thank you. Sucker Punch sucked, but at least the chicks that were in it, you could believe that they were. I mean, even if it was kind of comically overdone, that they were like Vegeta style kicking people's asses, at least they weren't these chicks that were
mostly in their heads, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I've
it was.
never been able to stay awake for more than 20 minutes
it was.
of that movie.
That was a weird movie.
Even before I was like famous for falling asleep in the first 20 minutes of movies.
That was a weird movie. But no,
that was the first time Sarah Paulson was like playing crazy Sarah Paulson in something, wasn't she?
I think so.
I think it was, because it was before the first season of American Horror Story.
I think so. Honestly, I'm not positive. It was around then.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't make a movie like it works for the Expendables because one,
they're all old action stars.
It's just pure fantasy, and it's very obviously pure fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
But for two, they're all guys that you've seen them doing this stuff before.
Yeah.
Like you've never seen Jessica Chastain kicking people's ass.
Yeah.
You've never seen Diane Kruger kicking people's ass.
No.
That's been my you hit it right there. That was the whole thing. These aren't action.
No, they're not action
Stars.
stars.
No. Like Gina Carano, I'd believe it.
Bring back Cynthia Rothrock.
Well,
Yep.
even
Like,
Angelina Jolie.
She wasn't a super great actress, but at least she believably kicked ass.
Rodriguez woman from Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
We've talked. There's women we've talked about who could do this.
That have had
Most of them
little
happen to
bit
be in
of
Resident Evil, but
But hey, whatever. No, it's that's a movie that I can pretty much guarantee I'll never watch.
yeah, I hadn't heard of it until Amanda recommended that we go see it, and I was like, let me look at the thing, and then I watched the trailer, and I was like, this looks awful.
Yeah, I saw a preview for it on.
This looks like something that I would not want to watch because none of these women are believable holding a machine gun of any kind.
You can frame it and shoot it to make them look as badass as you can with them holding those assault rifles, but it doesn't look.
Yeah.
Give me Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
T2 era.
God, I wish they would have got her to
where
Princess Leia.
She really believably looks like a badass.
Yeah.
And
doesn't she look like a grown-up Princess Leia?
I can see it.
I would have totally bought that.
I can see it.
And then I wouldn't have to watch Madam Collapsed Septum before she croaked. Try and weasel her way through shitty dialogue.
Coked out Carrie Fisher.
Boy, she was pretty when she was younger.
Oh,
what a
God.
waste. Don't do coke.
I was going to say, don't do drugs, kids.
Just don't do coke. I joke about cocaine a lot, but I do not advocate for cocaine use.
Especially that heavily.
Just...
Don't do anything that heavily, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's like drinking OJ and taking your vitamins, don't do anything that heavily. It won't work out for you.
But especially cocaine.
And to kind of further Tori's point, part of the reason that Sucker Punch worked was because it was so heavily fantasy. You're trying to take these chicks in the 355 and make it super grounded and real, and like it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
That really looks like fantasy.
Sucker Punch was you've got these girls in like schoolgirl. It was like live action anime. They're in schoolgirl outfits fighting Nazi robots and shit. Like it's peak Zack Snyder. Yeah, right there, it's such just fantasy to cranked up to 11, and you can't take these chicks and be like, oh well, they're former, she was an MI6 agent and she was
this one was Spetsnaz.
No,
she wasn't.
No, none of them were. None of them were.
They weren't. Sorry.
And it's not believable. Use
the girl from Black Widow, her sister.
Oh, Florence Pugh?
Good. Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah, see,
I really like her.
Workable because it's from a fucking superhero movie.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want in those.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Do we want to talk about Rogan real quick?
Oh, Rogan.
Yeah.
Neil Young. I want Neil Young to fight Joe Rogan.
The guy who...
That's what I want.
For dead in Ohio. Now he's talking about don't let them talk to people. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Let's not have reasonable discourse.
Yeah, no, heaven forbid.
Ever again.
Heaven forbid.
No one can talk.
To River from Firefly. Is that Summer Glau?
Yeah.
She is like a vacuum of personality. That's what happened to her.
Yeah.
She could believably kick ass, don't get me wrong. She sold her action scenes.
She had because she's a dead-eyed vacuum.
Dead-eyed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think the one time I've seen her where she wasn't dead-eyed, she was on a train in Big Bang Theory.
She played a Terminator in the Sarah Connor Chronicles for a reason.
Yeah.
She's a believable fucking robot.
Yeah.
But she, again, to be fair with you, she'd be a better choice than the chicks that were in the 355.
Yeah.
Because at least she believably kicked ass.
Yeah. She could have played a dead-eyed CIA assassin.
Yeah. Just like, this girl's got no personality. She's just a stone cold killing machine. Yeah, she can do that.
Okay.
I can believe that totally. No, I didn't know anything about this Joe Rogan stuff until you guys started talking about it. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to get caught up on it before we started the show, but
it's been on everything all day.
I've
seen all sorts of stuff. Neil Young's just being a great big baby about any vaccination related discourse on Joe Rogan's show. He's requested that all of his music be taken off Spotify unless they violate their contract with Joe Rogan.
And where do you draw the line? Because you can watch Neil Young videos on YouTube and you can watch Joe Rogan videos on YouTube. So does all of his stuff need to come off of YouTube too? And I don't get it.
At the end of the day, who cares about Neil Young anymore?
Does anybody care about Neil Young anymore?
I don't think so. I can't even think of anything that he did outside of his work with Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
What percentage of adult Americans even knew that Neil Young was still alive?
I don't know.
Because I admittedly didn't.
I just thought they were kind of puppeting him up there on stage anyway.
Yeah, it was another one of those fucking Weekend
marionette
at Bernie's things. Weekend at Neil's.
Yeah, I
can't think of a song that he did. Harvest Moon?
Well, he did Harvest Moon. He did Heart of Gold.
Oh, yeah.
Keep on Rocking in the Free World.
So, yeah.
He had success outside of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. But...
yeah, it's fine. But we were talking about this earlier. To what end?
To what end? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's late to the party.
Yeah. Very.
On this, we've had this discourse for as long as I can remember now. I mean, it feels like we've been talking about COVID since 2012.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody posted something on Facebook either today or yesterday that said it feels like it's January 74th, and man, I really related to that.
Yeah.
Like, ever since the COVID stuff started happening, time has taken on this weird elasticity.
Yeah.
Where it just feels like forever.
Well, and 2012 is a good kickoff point for that idea. When they did the Higgs boson thing,
yeah,
like everything kind of got weird.
Mm-hmm.
The whole world is just different. Time's weird. Everybody's gotten a little odd.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the Mayans calendar was right.
Maybe the world wasn't just ending in the very literal sense that we all took it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe everything broke.
Will you swap over to that opinion article that's on CNN there? I'd at least be interested to see what is it? It's
summarize the news.
It's Neil Young's free world, not Joe Rogan's. Scientists call out Spotify for misinformation on Joe Rogan's podcast.
All right. Well, so here's my take on Joe Rogan. Is Joe Rogan just kind of talks?
Yeah.
And he doesn't really he doesn't run anything he says through any kind of filter. And I don't know that much of his opinions are founded on anything, but is that Joe Rogan's fault?
I think the problem is a lot more on the end of people taking Joe Rogan's word as gospel than it is on
the onus falls
Rogan
on Joe Rogan's listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
To do their own research, figure out where their position is or where they stand on something. There's not a single thing I watch where I'm like, it's that we've talked about this before. It's the idolatry thing. You don't need to.
He's got it all figured out, man.
Joe Rogan.
He's got it all figured out.
Knows it all.
Yeah. There's too much of that.
Let that go.
Become your own. Be one of the first people who says he doesn't have it all figured out.
Oh yeah, I think he has said that. He says, "Don't listen to me." My dogs are outside.
I was like, "What the fuck was that?" That scared me. What the fuck is that? I've got the headphones on, so I didn't quite hear it that well.
The 76-year-old rock and roll icon. 76 years old. Fuck his opinion. I'm so tired of old people and their opinions at this point.
Okay.
I just don't care.
I don't know where I heard it, but I heard it recently, and it involves the concept of elderly people voting and getting an opinion on things. You don't get to order dinner when you're not going to be around to eat it.
Yeah. A 76-year-old rock and roll icon has taken a stand against vaccine misinformation, telling the streaming platform Spotify to remove his music if it continues to feature those who regularly disseminate lies and conspiracy theories about COVID-19. I'm doing this because Spotify is spreading fake information about vaccines, potentially causing death to those who believe this information being spread by them. Young wrote in his letter to his management team, which was first reported by Rolling Stone and has now been deleted. Please act on this immediately today and keep me informed of the time schedule. Fuck this guy. Fuck him. And I don't know. Once you hit about 75, your opinion just doesn't count anymore.
Okay.
It's
So
like 18-year-olds in their opinion. It doesn't matter. You haven't lived long enough.
I would have to do a little bit more digging than is allotted for our time on the show here. But the point that I want to make about this is how many other musical artists have their music on Spotify or various other things that have crazy, fucked up theories about things?
Yeah.
How many musical artists do you have that are out there that think that the earth is flat or think that we never landed on the moon or this or that or the other? How many other people do you have that have their music readily available or their podcasts readily available on Spotify? This feels like, part of me wants to say it feels like Neil Young trying to reach out and make himself relevant and get his name in the news.
It is.
Part of it just feels like not news at all. I just, fair question. How many other people share shit on Spotify that Neil Young doesn't agree with? And yet we're
right.
We're fixating on this.
Well, it's because Rogan has such a high profile, and
yeah, I'm all about grabbing coattails and trying to, catch on to somebody else's hang glider.
Oh, this is interesting though. On the show, okay, so here's and here we get into the opinion piece of it. On the show, Rogan and guests identified as experts have said that vaccination isn't necessary for the young and healthy, parentheses, they are. That ivermectin is an effective treatment for COVID, parentheses, it isn't, and using it in large doses poses serious potential health risks, and that people who have COVID face health risks from getting vaccinated, parentheses, they don't. So now we get into this person's agenda.
Yeah.
The person writing the article.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an opinion piece, not to be confused with expert medical testimony or anything. This is just some bitch.
Remember when news was actual news?
Well, it's an opinion piece.
Yeah.
And so it's not...
I mean, I guess technically it's not news.
Political op-eds and social commentary. So,
man, yeah, and
so this lady is firmly on the side of Neil Young.
Yeah,
and we've been hearing
and she'd probably hate us for our stance on vaccination.
They come at Rogan all the time they've been coming at Rogan for over a year on this stuff, and every time he kind of bats it down. He's like, "Don't listen to me. I'm not
an expert.
I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy here yelling." And that's,
God bless him for that.
And
but
I'm not a Rogan fan personally.
Nope, me neither.
His podcast is too long.
And he's
we say from our, you got to listen to us at 1.5 times speed.
He's kind of insufferable. He really kind of is. He's
Ron, pull that up. Pull that up.
Jamie, pull that up.
He's one of those people who like I said, insufferable is the only word I can really think of, because he just takes it too far.
Yeah.
He, like so many other people, he presents a really, really solid idea, and then he just pushes it to the point of I don't want to listen to you because you sound like a douche.
Yep. And, and it's his douche base that everybody's worried about him indoctrinating into something. They've already made up their mind on stuff, And if they're so dumb that they're going to just bandwagon onto one person's opinion, then that's going to happen either way. Like,
well,
if it's not Rogan, it's somebody else they're going to get on board with.
Exactly. And that's in line with that thing that Bruno shared of that Russell Brand video of they're mad because instead of these weak-minded followers following their news narrative, they're following Joe Rogan's instead. That's their real problem.
Right.
Is that they're, hey, no, we want the.
This is the only news I get.
I can't believe I'm going to use the word because I hate the word, but they're really angry that they're losing their sheeple to someone else. Yeah. That's their real problem.
A different shepherd has found.
Yeah.
Flock.
And
oh well,
there's enough sheeple to go around. CNN.
Yeah,
there really is.
Every once in a while, we'll have opinions. You come listen to us. We'll tell you what to do.
Right.
Tell you how to live your life. No, I mean, I think Rogan's got some good guests, some good episodes. I don't think he's he's obviously good at what he does to the extent that he has a huge following.
Exactly. He wouldn't be where he is if he wasn't at least somewhat good at his
Every
job.
month, at least once a month, I get a comment on our Joe Rogan video where it's titled Joe Rogan is overrated as fuck or overrated AF. And I always am getting a comment on that video about once a month where someone comes in and is like, you guys only have so many views on this.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you guys know? You guys suck. This show sucks. It's like, okay, calm down, buddy. I'm
cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This was a joke.
I have an awful voice and I didn't get $1 million deal from Spotify. Yeah. So obviously,
cool your jets, kiddo.
There's only so much that I can claim that's not just sour grapes. I mean, honestly, I'll never have the kind of deal that Rogan got from Spotify, and they're not going to violate that contract.
No,
for Neil Young,
for fucking Neil Young,
for a 76-year-old.
No.
Yeah.
Fuck, and Spotify vetted what they knew what they were doing. They don't. People don't just go into stuff blinded.
Right.
Big businesses like something like Spotify. I mean, there were employees at Spotify that protested when he got moved over to that platform, but the big head cheeses there knew that this was this is going to be the deal.
Yeah. They knew what they were getting into when they did all of it.
Yeah.
Because they're a fucking huge company. They're not some grassroots.
It was a calculated risk
group
on
of
their
nobodies.
Part,
yeah.
I don't know.
They knew they were going to piss some people off, but they were willing to hedge that bet against the number of listeners that they were going to get.
Yes, they're going to piss some people off, but they're also they'll probably piss about 50% of people off, but they still got the other 50% because that seems to be about where everybody seems to come on things is somewhere around 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of silly, but yeah. I think a lot of people have this similar mindsets on most things, but it's like people have to pick a side and choose a team. And so that's where we're at.
I'm definitely not on Team 76. I don't think I'll ever be on Team 76, even when I am 76.
Right.
If I make it that long, I don't think I'll ever be
He's
on
just
that
Team 76 now.
Yeah.
The gas company?
Yes.
Yeah.
The gas station?
I've gotten to the point where I've seen how the elderly are, and I just don't agree with them because all they do is bitch about young people and their ways. And it's like, you were that way when you were that age. And now you're the way that you used to complain that old people were. And you have a complete inability to reflect upon that. Yeah. So fuck you.
Here you go. This captures it perfectly. Last year, Spotify CEO Daniel Ek told Axios that when it comes to regulating what listeners hear, we have a lot of really well-paid rappers on Spotify too that make tens of millions of dollars, if not more, each year from Spotify, and we don't dictate what they're putting in their songs either.
That's
See,
true.
So I bet you there's some N-words in there.
Well, and now you get back to the
I bet you're right.
Old as time argument. if you don't like it, if you don't want to hear what Joe Rogan has to say,
You don't have to
change
listen to it.
the fucking channel.
That's what I did.
Yep.
That's why I don't listen to his show.
I'm not interested. I'm not interested in everything. Like if someone comes and says, "Hey, you got to check out the Joe Rogan episode with this guest,"
okay,
I might go check it out. I might not. It's going to depend on how much time I feel I have or what
Right.
I want.
And there are times when I will check out an episode specifically for a guest.
There's
somebody that I want to listen to.
Few
but
and
I'm
far
not
between.
Go listen.
Or
to
I'll
Joe
find the
Rogan.
clip. Or I'll find a clip. I'll
And
come
I
across
enjoy
a clip.
his stand-up. He's one of the stand-ups I still like.
Yeah.
But that's a tight hour. That's not a 4.5 hour ramble-thon
Change
where he's
the
telling
fucking
somebody
channel.
to pull shit up on
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah.
You don't like it? Just move to whatever.
Just do something else. Mind your own fucking business.
Yeah. It's like comparing David Bowie
It's
to
a curse of it's a curse of that whole the world's gotten so small thing, the internet making everything so readily accessible to everybody is it just
That's a huge problem with nowadays. Is there's so
It
much
is.
shit available.
yeah.
And look at us adding another 2 hours worth of content.
Right.
for
We're
people
part of
to
the
dig
problem.
into.
Yeah,
technically.
we're feeding that.
Here's
machine.
more information for you to cram in your
Don't
head.
listen to everybody else. Listen to us, folks.
Yeah.
So
We've got it all
Spend your
figured
time
out.
I grew up in a small town. Well, we didn't have cell phones when I was a kid.
No.
And I grew up in a small town with like a 18 is probably the max number of students in any class at any point in time, on average. I think my graduating class had 15 people. So I came from a real small community. That same small community has all sorts of information at their fingertips now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude,
that
I
they-
remember
that they wouldn't have had. Like I was very isolated.
I remember being a kid and like when your mom would pick me up either for church or from church if I was going to stay the weekend with you guys, I would try to manufacture reasons to use her car phone just because I was like, holy shit, there's a car phone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And her phone was in her
and
car.
yeah, and now it's I don't know.
She has that
Yes.
same phone number.
It's just
It's wild.
What a time!
I don't know. Again, it feels, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it feels like a really cheap argument to make of the just, change the channel thing. But what else do you say?
Yeah.
I mean, I know from
literally
personal
unlimited content at this point.
I
And
know from personal experience, I will use yesterday as a prime example. So yesterday I was flicking through the Netflix on the what's trending now, just looking to see as I had a half hour or an hour to kill. And I was like, oh, maybe there's something on Netflix that I'll try out. Because I've been trying to do that lately. I've been trying very deliberately to broaden my horizons and stop rewatching stuff and start watching new stuff. And so I was flicking through the what's trending, and there's a show on Netflix that's already had 3 fucking seasons done of it called Too Hot to Handle. I don't know if you guys have seen commercials for this or anything like that.
I've seen it tabbed on the Netflix,
Too Hot to
but I haven't
Handle.
watched
The entire premise of it is that it is a reality show where they send beautiful single people to a beautiful tropical location, and the entire premise of it is that it's a dating show where you get in trouble if you do anything sexual with the people.
And everybody's in bathing suits all the time.
Yeah, they're all sexy as fuck. They're all wearing barely anything. But the whole premise of the show is that you're supposed to fall in love with the mind of the person. And if you do anything sexual with the person whatsoever, you get thrown off the show. That's the premise of it. I watched the little trailer for it, that Netflix shows you. And I watched the 30, 45 seconds. I was like, man, I cannot envision a world where I would ever want to watch this whatsoever. Click next. What the fuck is so wrong with why can't more people do that?
I don't know.
Do it with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I think this guy sounds like a big fucking meathead tool. Skip.
Here's
Like,
Brian's comment. Yes, but not when his guest is also a stand-up. So boring. Exactly.
When they start getting into just talking about stand-up stuff, see, I love that.
I
But
like
I'm
it to
interested in that.
I like it to a certain degree, except when they start fucking knob polishing all their fucking their
yeah.
cohort. Oh, he's
Oh.
a killer. He's a killer. Oh, that guy, he kills. It's like, does he?
Yeah.
Is he?
To who?
He's adequate,
Just-
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But-
To other comics.
right.
If you're only funny to other comics, then you're not really funny.
Yeah.
Like, and I hate to be that guy.
It's true.
But it's true. Like, if you can't make the common man laugh, then you're not funny.
Then, yeah.
Because you're just not funny to enough people.
Yeah,
if you're
exactly.
only funny to other stand-ups, then you're too niche to be funny.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. And boy, it sucks to say that, and it probably sucks to hear that. But it
doesn't make it any less true.
Because Bill Burr gets into that too sometimes, and I haven't listened to anybody else's podcast but ours in a long time. Probably since this time last year, because I just haven't had time. But they get into that. They're like, "Oh no, that dude's a real comic. He just kills every time. I don't understand why he's not bigger. He's not bigger because he kills in the club with you guys, and not.
He doesn't appeal
else.
to the common man.
Well, so fucking Brendan Schaub, one of Joe Rogan's creatures.
I've never even heard that name before.
He got him a just by he's like a cage fighter guy. He's probably got CTE of some kind. He's an idiot.
Uh-huh.
He's half brain dead, but he's a stand-up comic
of some
too.
Huh.
But only of Joe Rogan's making. And he got like a Showtime special, and it sucks dick.
Dude, there are a lot of people though.
They
like
just gave him a special.
Jimmy Carr is a really good example. I've been watching a lot of. I've been laid up a lot lately. My neck's all fucked up. There's been a couple days I haven't been able to go to work. I've been watching a lot more TV and movies lately because I've been kind of confined to my couch a lot more lately than normal. And
sucks getting old.
It sucks being broken. But I've been watching a lot of British panel shows and shit like that. That I find on YouTube. I love Graham Norton. He's fucking hilarious. And Jimmy Carr is a guy that I've seen hosting several different things that he's fucking hilarious. He is fantastic on these panel shows. So I was like, oh, he's got a Netflix stand-up special. Let's check it out. Not really funny.
Do you know Brendan Schaub in
really,
person?
really funny.
Or you know who I'm talking about?
No, I
I was asking Brian. Sorry, Brian.
Oh, okay. You don't have us up on the chat.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
There we go.
But I don't. I'd never even heard the name.
Anyway, carry on.
But no, Jimmy Carr, fucking hilarious on the shows that I've seen him on.
Yeah, some people.
But the stand-up, the stand-up's not really terribly funny. And some of the guys that you see that I've seen do some of their stand-up really, really funny, but they don't do as good on the panel shows. It's interesting. The only part of Jimmy Carr's stand-up thing that I saw that actually it admittedly got a chuckle out of me. It wasn't particularly brilliant or anything, but he does a lot more audience interaction with his stand-up than I'm kind of a fan of. But he asked the audience, he was like, do you think that we overreacted with the whole COVID-19 thing? And people are like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, so do a lot of the survivors. But I'll bet if you ask the people that died of it, they probably say that we maybe underreacted to it.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was that got a chuckle out of me. But I'm not a big, and to be fair, that's the only stand-up of his that I've seen. So maybe there's, other that I like better.
Some good stuff.
But he's fucking great on the 8 out of 10 Cats, the Big Fat Quiz of Everything. There's several BBC shows. There's you don't have to have BBC to watch a lot of that stuff. It gets posted to YouTube pretty regularly.
That's Graham Norton too.
Yeah,
Graham Norton stuff is fun to watch because it calls back to what I liked about Carson.
Yeah.
And part of what I liked about some of Conan, because Conan got dabbled into that a little bit, but then kind of went back to.
He always kind of vacillated between
went back and
typical
forth
show, typical talk show, and being his own kind of almost avant-garde
thing,
and
having a relationship with the guests.
Yeah.
But then he also had to have guests that he didn't know from anybody. So so he'd have a Paul Rudd on and have a real good
the Running Mac and Me bit.
And shit like that. But then he'd have a guest that he didn't know that's just there to fucking Hug and Plug.
Yeah.
And so I think toward the end he started doing like a more casual sit down stuff. And I think that's what he hopes to come back with. But he's doing a podcast now too. So
I was gonna say he's not doing
I
anything.
think he's
other
probably
than the
happy to be doing the
now,
podcast at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But anyway,
that steals from us.
yeah, we gotta.
Yeah, I was
next
gonna
time.
say it's almost 7. I don't mean to be difficult, but I have other things I have to get to. So
How are we supposed to get listeners if everybody famous is doing podcasts?
I know, right? We
Sucks.
can't compete with fucking Conan O'Brien.
Nor should we even try.
No.
Oh,
Well, thanks everybody.
yeah.
Thanks for joining with us.
Let's
do something
that
nice
thing.
for yourself and each other.
Yeah.
Take
Let's
care
do
of
that
yourself
thing
and
where
somebody
we
else.
pretend to make the music.
Who was it? It was Derek that hated that, right?
I don't know if anybody hates it.
The music itself?
Yeah, I thought Derek was bitching about it. I thought there was an old episode where Derek was bitching about that.
Oh, well, yeah, we hated it originally.
Okay.
Surf
It's just
Safari?
Surf
Yeah.
Shimmy.
Surf Shimmy.
Now it's like the official outro music.
Yeah.
So if you don't hear it in the live broadcast because I add it. I add it in post.
Comes in.
Yeah.
So
Comes in the late.
like Brian.
Yeah, comes in late like Brian.
It's okay, Brian.
Hey man, better late than never.
All right.
You can listen to the recap later.
Good night, everybody.
We love
Later.
you all.